Welcome back, and joining me for a closer look at what's played out on the market scene today is Faheema Adia from Momentum Securities. Thank you so much for your time, Faheema. We, of course, have seen the JSE pushing higher and higher now, even above the 101,000 mark. And we also are seeing a positive sentiment in those US markets. Are all the catalysts positive right now for the markets?
Good afternoon, Zanati. Thanks for having me. Yes, I think it's been a good day today for both the JSE and global markets. So we've seen the good news with the extension of the US-China tariffs, and then also that US inflation report came in a bit weaker than expected. So I think this really did set the stage for some good performance. This morning we saw European and Asian markets open stronger. The JSE was stronger as well. And then this afternoon, once we saw the inflation results from the US, we saw the JSE actually push even higher, and US markets were also stronger. So I think there's just been some good data out today.
Yeah, and actually just looking at the fact that Trump has agreed to an extension of that truce with the US and China, hopefully then that means that we can also expect good news with our revised proposed trade deal to the US. Well, let's take a look at some of the company news that have come out of the JSE today. And of course, something that jumped out of all of us this morning was Sasol, that share price surging about 10% after the company released its year-end trading statement. Of course, the company is saying that it expects its bottom line to climb by as much as 100%. Has Sasol turned a corner?
Yeah, that's always the question we're asking ourselves. But I think this update definitely did take the market by a happy surprise. And it's good to see, despite that weaker oil price, we are starting to see a bit of a turn in that chemical basket price. They've also had other things in the business like reduced impairments, and the cost optimization also seems to be paying off. And they received quite a massive payout from Transnet of over 4 billion rand. So I think that's also helping them on the cash side of the business. But yes, the chemicals business does contribute a lot towards Sasol's revenue. So I think it's positive. We're seeing a turn in that chemical commodity basket price, but the question really is that sustainable, considering the macro headwinds and the impact of tariffs and so forth on global growth. So it's difficult to say for now. We would hope that it has turned, but yeah, difficult to say right now.
All right. Well, let's go into education. Advant released an interim trading statement, and I actually saw that investors were quite pleased with that. That share was up almost 3%. No color in that update, but just saying that they expect an earnings increase. How did you digest that update?
Yeah, so I think it's been a tough environment for these education companies in RT, considering that, student enrollments have been a bit weak. The consumer has been under a lot of pressure, which has impacted that. So if we look at Advant, while it has performed a bit better than Curo, it has also struggled. So I think these recent results are looking a bit more positive. That's why we are seeing a more favorable reaction from the market. And I think on a more positive note, Advant has been trying to grow their business outside of South Africa in other African markets like Ghana, Botswana, also in Kenya, just to try and offset the weaker growth that we are seeing locally. But yes, I think in the education space, the lead here really has been Stadio in the tertiary side of things.
All right. Well, let's go into mining, particularly ferrochrome and PGM's Merafe coming out with interim results, and all you saw there was decrease after decrease after decrease. Of course, ferrochrome production there softer. We also did have the bottom line decreasing by 55%, and actually, quite interestingly, we had an increase in PGM sales volumes, and I guess maybe that also speaks to the mining data that we got earlier for June, where PGM production was one of the positive contributors. What did you make of Merafe? It seems that they've been going through a lot lately.
Yeah, it's been a real struggle, and I think that's mainly just due to that weaker ferrochrome price. Because of that, they've kind of had to shut down some of their operations. It hasn't really been worthwhile to produce. So we've seen a significant drop in their production. So the thing is with ferrochrome is it is used in the production of steel, and given the slowdown in China's property market, we're not seeing that demand come through. And to make matters worse, we're also seeing the Chinese now produce ferrochrome. So that's really increased the competition, just putting even further pressure on the pricing there. And on top of all of that, we've still seen increased electricity costs, which are also having a major impact on the business. So yes, I think it's been quite a tough environment for Merafe, and probably will continue to struggle until we see a meaningful turn in that ferrochrome price.
Well, I want to have as much money as Sirius has because every week they are making an acquisition. So another acquisition, this one in the UK. What does this addition to the portfolio mean for the REIT?
Yes, so this is part of the acquisition strategies, Nancy. So we've spoken about it quite a bit in the past few weeks. It just seems like every second week they've been buying a new property. So most recently now in Germany and now also in the UK. And it's just to add to their portfolio of industrial and business parks. They're also taking a bigger focus on the defense sector where they think there's a lot of opportunity. So I think they're just continuing to go from strength to strength. But interestingly, I see the share price was a bit weaker after that announcement.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Well, let's get to your stock pick for today, Faheema. Where are you seeing opportunity?
So I'm seeing opportunity in Standard Bank. We haven't actually seen much performance from the South African banks over the past half. And I think that's been understandable considering the weaker SA growth environment. And also because it was more exciting to be in the resource sector after we saw a turn in quite a few of the commodities. But I do think that Standard Bank looks like it's offering value at the moment. It's trading at a forward P of about 7.5 times. And it also has about 40% of its revenue exposure to African markets. So that does help provide some diversity of its revenue and its earnings. And I think that just helps to offset some of that weaker growth that we're seeing in South Africa. And the results are expected to be released sometime this week. I think if we get some positive updates also on the state of the consumer, given that we have seen some interest rate cuts and also weaker inflation, that should be more positive for Standard Bank and the banking sector in general. So that's my stock pick.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and for your insights today on what has moved investors' money, Faheema. That was Faheema Adia from Momentum Securities.